Welcome to the first video of this three-part series, Better Connected, here at MWC in Barcelona. I'm very excited to speak to a couple of people that are very much into the digital transformation. And for the first guest today, I'm very happy to welcome Ian, who is the principal consultant for TV and product at Huawei Consulting. So welcome to this special series of videos.
Thank you.
It's a great pleasure to have you as the first guest, but maybe, you know, so everybody out there of my audience knows who I'm talking to today, maybe give us a 2-minute introduction about yourself.
Yeah, Ian Valentine, you said TV strategy and product with Huawei Consulting. I actually joined Huawei nearly 4 years ago now from a pay TV background, 7 years at Sky. Then I was working in a spin-off from Sky doing OTT video aggregation before Netflix was even born. And then I worked with a Russian TV operator building the first DTT, OTT, Android pay TV service in Russia. So nearly 15 years in the pay TV sector. I joined Huawei because I just really wanted to make a difference to more than one project.
Yes.
I felt Huawei could really make a difference to video business success going forward. 4 years on, I'm convinced of it. I'm convinced of it, and I think that we've had a great forum today, which has really proven that.
Sure. I mean, you know, I did some of my homework, and the first thing I wanted to ask you is a quote that I got from your LinkedIn, which I thought was fascinating. Technology is not always the solution to industry problems. Sometimes an industry needs to change the way it thinks.
Absolutely.
Now, I highly believe that this is true, but maybe you can explain a little bit what you meant by this and, you know, give us some examples, because I can think of a couple, but maybe you can...
You know, my career spans nearly 30 years now, and I think this has been a theme that's been going through everything I've seen, from the CRM call center industry, where people were beginning to pick up the phone and speak to customers instead of going into shops. And then the internet came along and everyone needed to change again the way they interacted with things. And we see this in the TV space as well. There are disruptive forces in the TV space, like OTT operators like Disney going direct to consumers and Netflix coming out, the whole move from linear TV to VOD. These things don't necessarily create business success unless you embrace the change, right? These technology change events need to have corresponding business change events, right? So the businesses doing telecommunications today, they have to change to become TV operators because video is now delivered over IP, pretty much all the time. The content providers need to change the way they work with operators because people aren't consuming linear TV anymore, they're consuming more VOD, right? The whole business ecosystem actually matures, and I like to catalyze that maturity. Right, to help the businesses change faster so they can get the benefits of the technological change. Okay.
I mean, let's take it also to, let's say, video. I mean, video is going to be huge. I think everybody agrees on this.
Video is huge.
Video is huge. It's going to be huge.
It's already
I mean, like,
huge.
you know, America is always a step ahead of, let's say, Europe. And Europe, it's like, I would say now 18, 19 is going to be very big. But can you put this like maybe into numbers a little bit? You know, when you look at, let's say, video is huge, I believe it, but give me the numbers and the why.
When you think about video being huge, I mean, I said to you, it already is huge, but actually you're right. There's a huge amount of headroom still to grow. In the emerging markets of Africa and India, we're seeing education, remote services, every kind of surveillance capability, everything, almost every app you can think of has embedded video in it. Instead of words, you move to pictures. Instead of pictures, you move to video. It's a natural progression, okay? Now, in terms of numbers, I mean, you just got to look at the data that's flowing through our carriers networks today, right? It's reaching the point where it's already the majority of data in the network is video, but pretty soon that's going to increase to the point where it overtakes everything else bar nothing. Now what that means for our telcos is that they have to embrace the value of the video flowing through the pipe, right? They cannot just continue to expand their networks with ever increasing video carrying capacity. Where does the money come from that? When they've got static subscriber base and maybe declining ARPUs. So the challenge for our carriers today is to get into the value chain of the video flowing through their pipes because the numbers just drive them in that direction.
I mean, when you look at, let's say, the video behaviors, I mean, a lot of times we talk about millennials that had literally no attention span at all. How can that, you know, compare to what you're saying right now? Video is going to be huge. Everybody will be watching videos, but on this other hand, us millennials, we don't have this attention span.
Well, I think that's another case of the business model and the proposition model changing to match the millennials' expectation. I mean, for most kids today, the TV is already the second screen. And they don't think of the TV as the first screen. They think of their mobile or their iPad as their first screen. But I think you're kind of wrong in saying that you've got short attention spans. Right? I can see millennials actually vegging out on TV series for hours and hours at a time and really enjoying premium content. I think the role of premium content as entertainment will never go away. Ever since we sat in caves and looked out the window, or we sit, drink our coffee and we people watch, we want to be entertained, and what entertains comes through the eyes. And video delivers that. And that value proposition is never going to go away, but we need to adapt it to match the use cases of the consumers and what they want. Now, the key thing they want came out of today's forum. They want to find content quickly. So there's a real service around content discovery. They want to be able to pick up and snack across multiple devices. You might start watching it on the TV, not finish it, and then finish it on the bus or even in the toilet, as one of the people explained today. Right? So multi-screen and bookmarking is important. The other thing you need to do is you need to be able to socialize that video. And sometimes it's small clips, sometimes it's humorous clips, sometimes you actually want to become the content creator yourself. And all of these things have to be enabled.
Yes, I mean, you just gave it away, the entertainment part, and I think also someone mentioned today during this talk, video is more than just entertainment. Maybe you can elaborate on that a little bit, and also keeping in mind, because the next question will be, what's the business model around video?
That's my favorite question.
Yes,
my job, right?
but let's stick to the first one. Like,
so the first
video
question
is more than just entertainment.
Video is more than just entertainment. I mean, Huawei came up with a marketing phrase a while ago called big video, right? And that, it sounds quite, but big video is very easy to explain, right? Entertainment is just like if a carrier runs an entertainment service, you can imagine that even if they were successful, they might be contributing 5 to 7% of the video on the network. The majority of the video is from other sources. Okay. Now, when you begin to look at and analyze it, video success for a carrier is not just about having an entertainment portal and making that a business success. I guess we'll talk about that. But it's about embracing everything that has video in it. Now, that includes communications, right? So me leaving my iPad open the whole time in a video call with my friend while we're playing a multiplayer game, right, is going on all the time. Right? Traffic cameras are getting shipped up and archived and analyzed by AIs in the cloud. My home surveillance cameras are shipping movement detected videos out into the cloud so that if my house is broken into, right? Video is entertainment plus communications plus verticals. And nearly every vertical will have a video component. I mean, I think there's a great example in China where instead of changing the hygiene laws in the restaurants, right, and doing inspections like they do in Europe, they just put a camera in every kitchen and said everyone that wants to come to this restaurant could just see what you're doing.
But that would be unheard of now, the GDPR and out of
maybe, but I think my point there is vertical applications for video just spring up all the time. So our big video concept is that the carrier treats video as an end-to-end service that needs to be managed from a quality point of view and may have service levels associated with it. It's a mesh of video now, with multiple things being sources and multiple things being syncs. It's made up of much more than just an entertainment service.
Sure. And now when we look more closely into the business model of videos, like what could you say, let's say specific when you look into the industry of big corporate leaders, how is video being embraced, let's say, to really take it as part of the business model?
Well, I think there's two parts to this. I think you have to look at the business model of the TV or video offering as a TV service or a portal, and then you have to look at the bigger picture about what's the overall business model of monetizing big video, as we've talked about. So let's take the first one. You want to launch a TV product. I quite clearly articulate that there's really 4 buckets of revenue that you look in, right? The first bucket is actually not direct revenue from your TV portal. It's indirect revenue. So from bundling the TV product with your other telecommunications products, you have key effects of subscriber growth, churn reduction, and ARPU increase across 3 different product lines, maybe mobile, WTTX, and fixed. And in those 9 buckets, you create synergies between your TV product. Some customers I've spoken to say the indirect benefits to their core business of having a video-first strategy can be 20 times the direct revenues you actually get in the portal. So that's lesson number 1. That's indirect. But now let's look in the portal itself and see where the revenues come from. And there are really three, right? There's access revenues, where you actually charge to get into or to have the service. So examples of that are like, $1, and then you can watch all you want without any data charges. That would be an example. Yep. Or actually just charging for time to watch video. Sometimes it's unlimited time, but in emerging markets, you might not want to go unlimited. You might want to say 20 hours a month and then add on more hours. Yep. This is an access product around video. Access revenues are still important, especially on metered networks like mobile networks. Then you have feature revenues, the money you make off monetizing your own product. Now, the great thing about feature revenues, and an example would be in the UK, Sky charge extra for Sky Go Extra, which means you can download and have it on more than one device. $6.95 a month, right? Pure revenue, not shared with content providers, and it goes straight to the bottom line. You're charging for a feature that you can turn on or off without hardly any cost, right? And it's the same with cloud PVR, it's the same with extended time shift, it's the same with making it HD rather than SD, you can charge for features. So monetizing your product itself that you own as the carrier is the second largest direct revenue next to access. And the third revenue stream are the content revenues. Content revenues come from all the different ways you can sell content, be it ESTs, SVOD, TVOD, AVOD, all these different ways. But the interesting lesson that we're learning here is those content revenues are the smallest. The access revenues are the biggest. Really? And the feature revenues are the next most contributing part of the business model. So much so that the carrier can make a viable business out of his indirect revenue benefits, out of his access revenues, out of his feature revenues, and not be in the content business. At all. That means that he can leave the content business to the people that do that well. He can partner with the Netflixes, he can partner with the HBOs, he can get a very small margin on their billing if he wants to, right? Or, guess what? He can launch a successful TV service in a country that's got high piracy or really low ARPUs. Yeah. Because just because they don't buy content doesn't mean you can't build a successful business model around video and TV. Sure. And we're seeing that now in every country of the world, where there are viable business models, both on mobile and fixed, based around those four content streams. Revenue streams. Sure,
sure. I mean, let's look a little bit more, let's say, into the future. When you look at, let's say, the different trends in videos, watching videos, is there anything specific that you would see that is going to happen in the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think there's two parts to that answer. I think I wanted to answer it from a big video point of view, but you kind of phrased it in terms of the product itself. So if you look at video products themselves, the big changes are in the sophistication of the UI, the moving of the UI from being something you do on the TV to something you do on a rich interface like touch. So the mobile device is becoming the control point for the big screen because you can do so much more down here. You can make it so gorgeous and rich, right? Absolutely. The other thing is voice control, and maybe even gesture control as something that are coming into TV interfaces. And the content discovery algorithms are getting more sophisticated. We're moving from metadata-based ones to big data-based ones to natural deep learning AI-based content discovery. So that's all in the portal. Those trends are going to carry on, and that's going to strengthen the carrier product. The product will just get better and better and better, right? But then in the big video space, what are the trends out there? And they're really, really subtle. And they're not so much about the carrier's portal, but about the carrier's process of managing video through their pipe. What we're seeing is more sophisticated content delivery capability being built into the carrier networks. So, for example, delivering content to a watch needs to be transcoded down to a small size. But someone with a big library doesn't want to do that for every one of their assets. So what we're seeing is that the carrier can begin to provide a smart pipe for video where all the services become just-in-time. Just-in-time transcoding, just-in-time encryption, just-in-time packaging, just-in-time storage. And this makes the video aware and smart. Now this is a whole new way that the carrier can deliver value to those services we talked about that needs video embedded in them. They take the heavy lifting away and with their data centers make more capability for innovation in services that need video, which makes everything better, right? The carrier has a new business model. There are more service innovation in the ecosystem, and the customer's happy. This is happening, and I honestly believe the carriers have the advantage. I tweeted earlier on that where video meets the cloud, carriers have the advantage.
Yes.
And I think this is, we're seeing that more and more.
Absolutely. Okay, good. Ian, thank you very much for being here, part of this first video. Thank you very much, everybody who tuned in today for this first video of a series called Better Connected here at MWC in Barcelona. And have a great day. I'll see you in a minute.